Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rotimi Kende, and I'm the founder and CEO of Kingdom Branding. And I'm so excited to see you all here today. So, today we're going to be talking about how to develop an engaging social media strategy. Kingdom Branding is a company that specializes in really high converting website development and also brand identity. We do SEO, we do search engine optimization, and we also do social media strategy. And today we want to share some ideas and tips with you, absolutely free of charge, because we're going through a pandemic right now, and we just thought as a team that it would be really important for us to start to empower people and really share some of the things that we do as a company that's helped our clients really scale up massively. It's going to be a 2-week webinar series. So today we're going to focus more on social media strategy, but next week we're going to go into content development, and we're going to show you behind the scenes of our platform, which is called KB Social, that allows you to do so many things on social media. But we'll also show you an editorial calendar. We'll show you how to develop compelling content and some of the tips and tricks that we use for our clients to help them really scale up as become stronger businesses, really, and generate quality leads. But first, I'd like to introduce our amazing team and also our speakers for today. But while you're jumping in, we would like you to just post your name. Tell us where you're tuning in from. We're excited to meet you, to connect with you as we spend the next few minutes together talking about social media. I'll also say this, right? Like, there's tons of social media content out there, and there's tons of webinars and events. But what's going to make this different is that we're actually going to get very practical next week. We're really going to jump into showing you some practical things that we've done, like you can actually start to implement in your company, right, to help you take advantage of social media and really take it to the next level. So it's not just about posting, but it's about having a strategy that really helps you and empowers you to be able to scale up your company. And so let's bring in some of our team today. First, I have Stephanie. Stephanie is our lead designer at Kingdom Branding. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. I'm doing great. Beautiful morning in Chicago. I also have Melly. Melly is our business development lead. Phenomenal human being. I have Pappy, who's a full-time photographer. She's phenomenal behind the lens, and she's also a content developer. So she creates content for our content marketing services. We have Eric Beckwith. We call him the Matrix. He's in the green room in the Matrix, but he's a full stack developer. You're gonna hear from him a little bit later, but he's phenomenal. He was actually very and is still centered to our app development service. So if you go to the iOS store, the Android store, you can get our Kingdom Branding app and check that out. Eric is working with us to really fuel our next line of business, which is going to be app development. And we're building all from scratch in-house here in Chicago. So that's pretty exciting. Then we also have Essie, our SEO specialist. And Essie is going to be speaking today also about data. So we want to show you how powerful it is to work with data, right? Especially when it comes to social media. So there's a direct relationship, right? Because every single time you post on social media, you are getting insights, you are getting data, engagement data. And so we're going to talk about that, how to analyze that and how to use data to influence your social media strategy. So we're not going to waste any more time. Again, want to welcome you all. Thank you for being part of this webinar. Make sure you're posting in the comment section. If you have any questions today, just feel free to throw it in there. And again, today we're going to talk about how to develop an engaging social media strategy. And then next week we're going to talk about content. It's going to be awesome. So let's jump right in. I'm going to have Stephanie take us into this journey as we get into the meat of what we have today. Thank you so much for joining. So Stephanie, how are you?
Good. How are you? I mean, I asked.
Well, thank you. I'm doing great. So here we go. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Do you think?
Cool. Social media strategy. So hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm going to tell you about social media strategy. The basics. So that's going to include before you post, when you're posting, and after you post. So before you post, probably one of the most crucial parts of your Instagram or your social media strategy is to do your research. Like you do before anything, you have to do very extensive research in order to know who you're going to be targeting, who's your audience, what social media platforms you want to focus on if you're not just going to focus on one, and what your industry is. So once you've figured out what industry you're in, then you're going to conduct a user journey. So you're going to go look at what their forms of engagement are, what they're posting, what their biggest platform is, who their followers are, and what information that they're putting on that people are engaging with most. So social media 101. This is a breakdown of all the social media platforms. Facebook is more of a connecting tool. Twitter is more informational. You go there for your news, maybe a laugh. Instagram is more of an image thing where you're posting videos and photos and it's all based off imagery. LinkedIn is more of a professional vibe, and Pinterest is for inspiration, and Dribbble is more for creative. So if you're a designer, if you're a developer like Eric, or things like that, you can post your stuff on Dribbble, like a social media thing. Cool. Influencers versus brands. So they're very different, but also kind of similar. Influencers are selling yourself as your brand, whereas brands are selling brands as humans. So you want human beings to be able to connect and empathize with a brand, even though a brand is not a human being. So on the left-hand side, you see Blueland and Reese Witherspoon's book club. Those are two companies that I think do a really good job on social media. And on the right-hand side, you see Leah and Acacia. They're both influencers that I also think they do really well on social media. So the companies on the left-hand side, I think, do well because they're really engaging with their followers. Blueland is a really earth-friendly. They have products that save like plastic, reduce plastic in the earth, and they're always posting like facts and engaging with their followers and always just being really at the forefront of that industry. And I think that's how they gain momentum really fast. And Reese Witherspoon's book club is also the most engaging because, I mean, she's convinced me to read 1 million books just from her Instagram page, mainly because she's always really consistent. She's always engaging. Not only does she engage with the readers of the book club, she engages with the authors, which I think is really important. And she's always really consistent. On the right-hand side, with the influencers, Leah is a curly hair influencer, and I think she does a good job of always posting like her curly hair and her life. And it's kind of just like you're interested in her life, which is connecting with us, and that's what's most engaging. Same with Acacia, you know exactly what you're getting into when you get on her page, and that's the same with all of them. So the minute that someone gets on your social media page, you want to tell them everything they need to know about yourself really quickly because you don't know if they're going to drop off. So you want to have your links ready, your bio, that all the information you want them to know right there at the forefront, because then if they are interested, then they'll start scrolling more even to get to know you more. But if they drop off, then you know that you hooked them at least at that point. And consistency is key. So if you're focusing on different platforms as like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you want to be consistent. You want to have optimized social media banners on all the platforms, such as like the banners on the top of Reese Witherspoon's Facebook and Twitter. And then you want to have matching bios and information. So you don't want people who are only on Facebook to get access to the website. You want people on Instagram and Twitter to also get access to the website. So you want everyone to have access to the same amount of information on all the different platforms. Fighting the algorithms. That's one of the hardest part about social media is the algorithms, because on every single platform, they're very different. Like, TikTok is very different to Instagram, to Facebook, to Twitter. So fighting the algorithms is really important. So algorithms are all based off your own engagement. That is comments, reshares, likes, saves, and views. So some social facts about algorithms are that for Instagram, if you're doing a sliding cards, the third slide is really critical. If your audience doesn't get that far, then the algorithm is going to assume that it's not good enough content to push out. So you want to grab your audience in that second or third slide so they can keep scrolling, or else Instagram is going to push your content down, or not at all. Videos are the most engaging forms of content. That is quick recaps, DIYs, tutorials. People want to be engaged with you, and they're gonna, even though our attention spans are really small, people are actually gonna engage with you via videos. So that's really one of the most important things on social media right now, even if it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Tagging others / products is good, only if applicable. So like if you have a cup of coffee in the morning, you don't want to tag Converse because it doesn't really make sense. And you're going to lose credibility because you're not really relating to anything. You're just kind of posting to post, which is the algorithm's biggest like no is that you don't want to act like a robot, and you don't want to go on social media only to be posting one time and then drop off. And you don't also want to oversaturate your hashtag. So in the beginning, when I said research is key, you have to research hashtags as well. We're not going to be posting hashtag Kingdom Branding all the time, because we are probably the only people that are going to be looking for hashtag Kingdom Branding, because we are Kingdom Branding. But we're going to hashtag branding, because people are going to be looking at hashtag branding, and then Kingdom Branding is going to come up. So you want to just keep in mind that you have to do research on your hashtags, and Twitter and Instagram do a really good job of telling you the impressions of each hashtag, so you can know which ones are the ones to hashtag. And then you don't want to also oversaturate, as in like you don't want to put 13 or 20 hashtags, because again, the algorithm's going to think you're a robot, and it's going to be like, oh, well, are they just trying to like boost themselves kind of, and then they're going to drop off. So you want to kind of keep it to like 3, 4, 5 hashtags that are also relevant, just like the tagging relevant to what you're posting. Knowing when to post. So all the social media platforms have a really good job of giving you an analytics section, whether that's on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. They have a really good place where you can track your followers. You can see when they're most active, who your followers are, where they're coming from, things like that. So a good rule of thumb to consider is when you are most on your phone. And like if you wake up in the morning and you're always on your phone, then you know that people are also going to be on their phone. So the 3 average active times are in the morning around 8 a.m., around breakfast time, before work, midday, like lunch breaks, noon, around there where people are taking a break and looking at their phones again. And then in the afternoon/night around 4 to 5, because you're going to catch people on the work commute home. And then you're also going to catch people around dinner time or before bed. So you can kind of get both of those rushes at night, because that's when people are the most free, especially on the weekdays, as in that range of night. So now we are creating your own social plan. So what you're going to want to do is create a content calendar with a great content mix, which is photos, videos, and stories. You're going to want to use the AIDA framework, which is attention, interest, detail, and action. You want to hook your audience there, and you want to also get CTAs and engage there. So CTAs are call to actions. You want to be like, let's say if I'm a curly hair influencer, I'm posting this new shampoo I like. And I'm like, what's your favorite shampoo? Kind of engaging, so people can then post like, oh, my favorite shampoo is this. And then people are going to start looking at what other people are posting or commenting on your pages, and what you can then review maybe in the future. And then that's how you kind of create that momentum of people engaging with you, and then you're engaging as well. So most importantly, you want to think about what you would want to see / share on your own social media, because if you want to share it, then why would someone else want to share it, right? You want to have things that are relatable, things that people can push on their own social media, or they can share to their friends, or, see something cool like, oh, look at this, why don't you post this? And then that's how it goes, right? Social media is all about engagement. Engagement is the biggest takeaway from all of this. Which brings me to my next slide, which is engage. You can start a conversation, but that doesn't mean people are going to listen. So you have to get into those spaces, get into those industries by engaging with other people. Even if you have 0 followers today and you keep going on someone who has 1 million followers, you're going to go post in there. You're going to share their stuff. You're going to say, wow, that's great. That's great insight, things like that, because you want to be able to enter that conversation and then become credible in the future. So that's what engaging is the most part. The algorithms are going to know. If you're not engaging, they're going to think you're robots. They're going to think that you're only on there for likes and views, which, I guess that's a part of social media, but you want to actually fight those algorithms and boost yourself on social media. And that's all through engagement. So happy posting. I hope that helped people.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was so cool. I have a question for you, and I also want to encourage people that are watching. If you have any questions, just feel free to post it in the comment section on whatever platform you're watching on, and we will be able to pull those questions into the feed. So one question for you, Stephanie, is you talked about posting to different platforms. Is there a situation where you just want to pick one social media platform and just focus your strategy on just one platform, or do you think that we should always post to every single platform that exists?
So when you're doing your initial research, I think it's important to look at what industry is most prevalent within each social media platform. So if you don't really see your industry or who the people you're trying to target on Twitter, then I would probably stay away from and not exhausted so much energy into that type of platform until maybe, I mean, you can also create the conversation there as well. Like you can kickstart it and, you know, start talking about it on there and become the forefront on there. But I would focus on the place that you know you're going to succeed the most, and being able to, it's totally okay to just focus on one. I know Instagram is a lot like, sometimes they only focus on Instagram because, you know, there's a lot of imagery and it's really easy to share and get information around, especially on Twitter as well. So I think it's definitely okay to go at your own pace. And if you only comfortable posting on Instagram for now, totally okay. And then you can segue into posting on Twitter and then Facebook. And then that's when you can start creating an entire plan differently, but definitely okay to test the waters now on one platform and then just like get into different avenues as you go and as you grow. Because then once you have a lot of followers on one, then you can promote the others and then people are going to go follow those.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Again, we're asking you if you have any questions, please feel free to post them into the comments, and then we're going to pull them into the conversation. One more thing I want to ask you about social media, and I'm going to go back to the time the post. I think one of the interesting things that we've seen is it's always this question around when should I post, and something that I really want to iterate on, just kind of really make sure that everyone understands this concept, is that you should think about when you are most on your phone. And so can you talk about that again? When you say post in the morning or midday, what type of post should I post in the morning? What can I post in the afternoon? What should I be posting in the evening?
Yeah, so I think in the morning is kind of like, I would say it depends on what your topic is, but, you know, kind of more of a like feel good, you know, you're starting your morning, maybe inspiration, maybe a cool quote or something like that people can kickstart their morning with. And then in the midday, kind of maybe more heavy information of like, hey, you don't want to miss this. I'm going to post maybe later on something that's really important. And then at night, that's when you can post probably your biggest point. So people can catch it the next day, or people can have something to look forward to. You want to engage and interest. You want to grab your audience, right? And anything that you post, you always want to be able to grab your audience. So you always want to ask that, like, you want to give them more. So you're like, hey, I'm going to post something cool at 5 p.m. And then kind of like what people in movies do now. They're like, oh, the trailer is going to come out at 5 p.m. So come to our Instagram. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to go to Instagram because I know that the trailer is going to come out at 5 p.m. because they told me, and I saw it in the morning. They said at 8 a.m. I'm going to post the trailer at 5 p.m. So I'm going to be on Instagram at 5 p.m. to see the trailer, without a doubt.
That's awesome. Well, we have a question here, and then we're going to go to the next part of what we're going to be talking about today, which is going to be data. So, and this is from Jack McNeil, a very good friend, Jack. Do you have any favorite new softwares or platforms to create content on, whether it be video, graphics, or animation? And I'm going to shout out something before you say anything. Lotties.
Yes. Oh yeah, Lodi. Yeah. We do a lot of website design, and we had just come across this program called Lodi, which is awesome because it doesn't. When we have websites, you know, sometimes things can get pixelated, but this works based off vectors instead of pixels, which has crystal clear animation. So you can use cool Adobe products and our softwares in order to create an endless loop stream of an animation, which is really cool.
I found one the other day also, Stephanie, that I thought was really cool, called Loom, that allows you to do a screencast. You can record your screen. We actually do a lot of wireframing for our web development services. And so what we like to do is we would screen record and kind of explain our design think. And I thought that's always just important because it just always takes it to the next level, as opposed to just sending a link and saying, hey, just check out the website. And the client doesn't really know why you place certain assets in different places. But with this amazing software that allows you to screen record, then I can easily explain, well, here's where we use this color here. Here's why we have this hierarchy with your font structure. Here's why we have this flow here, or whatever it is. So those are some really cool tools. But at the end of the day, I think the winner is still Adobe Creative Cloud. I think forever and ever. I don't know if there's going to be any other.
I do suggest Canva as well, though. Canva does. Canva does.
Yeah, Canva does a good job too. Yeah.
And they keep adding new features that kind of seem cool. Like now you can kind of make a video like off a social media graphic, and they have all these cool templates. So if you're not a designer, then it's really easy for you to create. So any graphic, anything for social media, which stories, things like that. It's really easy and cool.
In fact, I remember, as you said that, I remembered that there was one of our clients who had asked us to do a Canva template. And so they were running a full campaign. And sometimes, budget might be an issue or whatever the reason is, but we're able to also create a template for you. And then you just need to match the brand and just know what your fonts are and just, update and create your own graphics yourself.
And collaborate.
Especially if you're going to be posting every single day. And do what?
Collaborate.
Absolutely. Collaborate as well.
Yeah, which is really neat.
All right, I'm going to take one more, and then we're gonna jump into data. Well, posting, creating videos. This is from Danielle. Posting, creating videos, content scheduling, engaging. Sounds like a lot of work. What are some ways to make social media management easy? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's one of the things that we wanted to show you today. Now, there are tons of tools out there. I'm not going to lie. There is, I think there's this very popular one. I forgot the name now, but Hootsuite. There's Buffer. There is, I think it's called Sprout Social as well. And it really depends on, whatever agency you're working with, or if you want to do it yourself. We have our platform called KB Social, which I can also show you that in a quick moment. But KB Social is really, it does everything that we're talking about today. And I'm going to be talking about that at the end of our stream today. It allows you to post to all your social media accounts from one platform. It allows you to schedule in advance. You can also get amazing engagement because it has a universal social inbox. So it's pulling comments from Facebook, it's pulling DMs from Instagram into one platform, which is really powerful. So we've been deploying our clients on this platform, and we're going to show you a little bit of that today. So Daniel, we're going to come back to that. We'll talk about our tool at the end, because this is a free webinar. We should always have a little sales thing going on to onboard people to our new platform at the end, because it's free. So thank you for that amazing question. We'll take more questions at the end. Feel free to keep them coming. But right now, we want to talk about data very quickly. We're going to bring Essie. Essie is our SEO strategist, and she's phenomenal. And every month she gets to work with our clients in helping to look at how data is influencing their lead generation. And so when you think about traffic sources like Facebook and Twitter, she looks at the data every single month. That's what she's doing. She's staring at data. She's looking at how many people are coming from social media to your website, how long they're staying, what's the bounce rate, and what content are you creating that's actually keeping people engaged on your website. So I'm going to pull Essie in right now, and we're going to have Stephanie come back later on. Hey, Essie.
Hi, how are you? My name is Essie. I think it has some echo there. How are you guys? Welcome. So today I'm going to share with you 4 important components that are going to help you create a SEO, data-driven social media strategy. The 4 components are important. One, because data analytics is super helpful. The one thing that you can learn, it's about your customer. You want to know your customer. And the important thing about data analytics is that it allows you to know if your website is or your platform is performing well. Visibility, you can increase visibility. You want to be in front of your customer. Ranking, and most importantly, you can't drive traffic to your platform. Data analytics, it's important because even though the SEO is not concerned with social media to rank, sharing does, and especially link sharing. So it is important to keep in mind that is why it's important to use it. Another thing that you want to think about is that it helps you to understand what would be your next action for the next month. Data is definitely important because your user is interested in something different every month. And you want to plan out ahead of time what is the best action, where your budget is going to go, where your users are coming from, where your customers, who are they, what age group they are. So this insight is given through data, and you can turn it into insightful business information. It's important to know that. Delivery, how are you going to turn this into a message? Data helps you do that. Understanding reports, making reports every month is crucial because, again, you want to be strategic. Where is going to go, where your time is going to go and your money is going to go. Metrics, performance, tracking, analyzing, and progress. You want to be smart about it, and data helps you with this. Data analytics is a crucial tool, especially now, again, when you go into a search engine and a searcher is looking for different things, even though within your industry, they might be interested in something different. When you are formulating a social strategy, you want to keep in mind that you want to stand out within your business industry, right? It is important to know that you have competition. You have plenty of competition. You want to stand out. Search engines like Google, want to provide the best possible search results to their searcher. Yes, I use searcher, not your targeted audience. Why? Because now you have to think about the searcher based on the search engine perspective. For instance, a user is a searcher seeking for a specific information, product, or service. And now search engines like Google are focused in using algorithms to track and how to respond to your visitors. Again, I'm using visitors, they're not yet your customers. And because they want to provide an amazing user experience for the searcher, you are part of this because you are the one offering these products, these services, there's this knowledge. And therefore, they're going to pay very much attention to this. And data helps you, and SEO helps you to, one, stand out when you are providing a great user experience for that searcher. One of the things that I think about a lot and how search engines and data analytics help you to stand out is when you become part of the most search business within your industry, and then you land in the top 30, right? So think about this. Being in the top 30 might not sound really appealing to you, but you're talking about in billions of businesses within your industry. And when you rank in those 30, that means that you have reached a volume of visibility where your audience is going to see you, and eventually you can get to the number 1, and then you can gain industry authority, which Google really pays attention a lot, in other search engines like Bing and Yahoo. The important thing about this also is that, again, social media is not considered a factor for ranking, but sharing and link sharing is important. So when you are thinking about performance, you want to ensure that your platform, that your site is working properly. Why? Because, again, you want to rank in the number 1 and the number 30. Becoming one of the goals that you have to think about is that you want to become the best search result. Okay, I know this is a little bit different than thinking about I want to become the number 1 business out there, but you have to think again based on the search engine perspective. And how do you do this? Well, you have to offer value to the searcher through the user experience. So when you focus on the user experience in your platform based on creating content that is usable, that is definitely responding to the needs of the searcher, is going to rank high, because that's what Google is doing in other search engines. They're looking for content that is meeting the search that searchers are concluding. For instance, I want to find out more about diapers. Let's say I'm a mom, I want to find out about diapers. There's going to be many different industries that are going to come up. right? But what I'm looking for, that's where I'm going to click. So it's important to think about that kind of value in delivery when it comes down to using data in SEO. Social media is important, again, because the algorithms are going to collect data from your users. And you as a business want to have users for two reasons. One, because users are what Google is and search engines are looking at, and they're wondering if they're staying, if you're answering their questions, if you are definitely providing the user experience that they deserve. But for you, you want to convert them into your customers. And when you talk about being strategic, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it strategic. Creating and delivering usable, engaging, and responsive content doesn't take too much. You can just research 5 to 10 words that are trending within your industry, focus on those keywords, and create content around them. Okay. The other thing that you want to think about is also search interest. Your targeted audience, which are the search engine searchers, users, they are also looking for specific things. So your keywords are going to change. And you got to keep up with those, and data helps you with that. What I like about this, we can think about tracking and analyzing. And this is the fun part that I do, metrics. Your platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, any platform that you can think about right now, they are not just platforms. They are traffic sources, as Rotimi mentioned in the beginning. Why is it important to use these traffic sources as a key point of reference to get to know your customer, your potential customer, and these users, right? Why is it important? Because every day, every month, actually, you're going to get new users and you're going to get returning users. And for you, having a strategy around it to convert them is going to be the fundamental goal every month, right? Because you want people to come, not just to visit and go. Imagine if you open the door of your house and you have visitors and they just eat the food and they leave, rude, right? But you can have people come and actually eat the food, ask you questions, want to know more about you. And that's what you want to do. Metrics provide this. And your platforms are those metrics, traffic sources. Be on top of which words, as we talked about a little bit in the beginning, which words are being used by searchers. Most importantly, because they're going to tell you about these ones. One of the 3 platforms that you can use to measure this visitors and tracking them and analyzing them and having access to these platforms is Google Analytics, Google Ads, and Google My Business. Those are platforms accessible to you. You can use them anytime. They're free. You can definitely pay for ads, right, when you are ready to do that. But you can go with just focusing on organic traffic. And those are excellent for you. Analyzing data might be something that you don't want to do, but if you don't have the budget, you can learn to do it. And it's fun eventually. It allows you to get closer, to understand, and to begin to wrap yourself around this changing industry with all the algorithms that we're facing. As Stephanie mentioned, you're always fighting with them. So I want to close out with that. Remember just 3 things, okay, you want to remember. You want to convert visitors, returning visitors, but most importantly, now you have to think about the searcher is seeking for specific things. And they are also looking for you to be part of their user experience. So everything you do has to be around that user experience. Thank you.
Wow. That was simply phenomenal. Thank you so much, Essie. Great job. Thank you for sharing about data. Data is really, really critical. And I think, as we talk about social media today, and as we talk about why data is really powerful in terms of the different algorithms that Google has put in place to really, without maybe not even thinking about you as a business, but more thinking about themselves and about their customers, which means their users. it's important for you to begin to rethink your strategy, especially when it comes to social media and content development. So that's the perspective that we really wanted to share with you. Is we've initially, it was all about meta tags that you would put into your website and keywords that you would put into your website. That's completely changed to really creating compelling content that would answer questions. And so the technology is really crazy now, and it's really about you being able to provide answers to questions that people are asking for. So it's it's a huge industry, the search industry. And so we had a question earlier on where someone talked about, is there a platform where, just pulling back Danielle's question here about posting, creating videos, content scheduling, engaging, there are some ways that you can do this quite easily. And I think it's important for us to talk about our KB Social platform that allows you to do all of that. Everything that we talked about, social media management, posting today or scheduling tomorrow. Imagine if your strategy is to post 3 times a day, for example. If that's I'm not saying that's the best way to do social media. I'm just saying, assuming that's your strategy. And we've done campaigns where we had to post maybe 5 times a day, right? It's completely impossible for you to have to go to maybe Instagram and then post there and then share it to your Facebook and then go to Twitter and then reformat your captions and then post on Twitter manually. That would take forever. And so we have a tool called KB Social that allows you to do all of this cool stuff in one place. And that's something that's pretty exciting for us as a company. But before I even show you that platform, I want to pull in Eric into the conversation. And again, feel free to keep posting comments and questions, and we're going to keep tackling them as we go, because we really want to answer your questions today. So just feel free to throw your questions into the comment section, and we're going to be able to see it here in the back room. So Eric is our full stack developer, and one of the cool things that he's done is build really powerful scripts that can pull trending data from Twitter, for example, and he's successfully done that for political campaigns. Like I said earlier when I was introducing him, he has been the core of our app development. And you can go on the iOS store and the Android store and download the Kingdom Branding app. But Eric, let's talk a little bit about data. Data is so critical, and how are some ways that we can begin to appreciate data, especially when it comes to social media? Because I think that's what a lot of businesses are missing, especially businesses or entrepreneurs that are trying to do social media by themselves. And it's like, okay, I'm posting every day, but I don't really know if I'm doing anything. I don't know if I'm actually getting leads. How do we understand user behavior, especially through the lens of data?
Oh, hey guys. Well, yeah, it's huge. Data is big. It's what some people are saying, it's the oil of this century. So if you can get a hold of your data, you're going to be a lot better off, especially in the age of COVID. So today, really, I'll mention one major thing you can do. So strategy and SEO are really big as they've gone through, and all the data analytic tools that are available to you here, for instance, as Rotimi showing you. So Google Analytics, Facebook, all the major social media platforms do a really good job at making their data accessible, especially the last few years. But now the trend is that people are not only tracking their posts, their likes, their shares, but also the sentiment of people's posts, likes, and shares. So you can take this even further and really understand the tone of your customer. So you can see how they react to changes in marketing and changes of your product and your service. So a lot of big companies are using that to do that today. So for instance, if you're waiting for a American Airlines flight and you tweet, "Oh, I hate American Airlines," they will know, and they'll get that information. So they know that they're doing something wrong. And if they get more of those in one day, they're going to have to, change, talk to management or something. But basically that's the future. Sentiment analysis is huge. Even in 2012, the Obama campaign actually used it on public opinion data, and that really helped them craft their message and strategy. It's the next tool in the toolbox, if you will. So in order to get a hold of your oil or your data, you really need to think all these things out. But that's
wow.
it.
Thank you so much, Eric. That's good stuff. Data is really powerful. I think if you are still in the bucket of I post, every other day, I'm not consistent, I think that's an issue. If you really want to step up your social media game, you have to, like Stephanie said earlier on, you have to be able to develop some consistency in all that you're doing. And part of that is just looking at the data. It's one of the powerful things about our KB platform, KB social platform, is that it allows you to see drop-offs. It allows you to see your post performance. So you can actually see when you posted, and you can also see like impressions and engagement, which is what we're always looking for. So you can have an impressions campaign, for example. It's just, you maybe just want a lot of people to see a post. But I think engagement is really that's how you measure the next step. If you think about social media as this really cool dining table where you're seeing opposite 1 million plus potential people having multiple conversations per day, and you want to get someone's attention, right? And so you do that through maybe a video, or you do that through some text, or you share an article or something to get someone's attention. Which we're going to talk about next week. We always talk about the call to action. So what do you want them to do? So now that I've seen this really cool article in healthcare about maybe Medicare or Medicaid, so what do you want me to do, right? So you've given me educational content, but then what's the next step? And so we're always asking ourselves when we post, what do we want people to do next? And if someone was fortunate enough to actually engage, we could be, like a like or a comment or a share, then you know that, okay, you're doing something right. But then the next step of social media mastery is now understanding what exactly is trending. So in our platform, you're actually able to see, and this is just one of the organizations on our platform, you're able to see your top trending posts, which is really critical across the different platforms that you're posting to. Your top posts, you're able to see insights. You're actually able to figure out from the platform, which of your posts and the type of post that's doing really well. And so next week, we're going to go into developing content. And we're going to show you some of the things that we've done to empower our clients to develop content effectively. So are there any other questions before we wrap today? We want to answer all your questions. So, okay, I see a question here. So if someone isn't responding to you on social media, it means they don't want to be engaged with you anymore. I'm going to post Stephanie into this conversation as well, right, Stephanie? And the coolest thing about social media is you should also think about how quickly you respond to engagement, because I think social media, is also being measured, especially Facebook. If you have a Facebook page, which is the recommendation for a business, I've seen people try to run business from their personal profile. I'm like, no, don't do that. It's limiting. You only have, I think, 500 friends that you can add, and you just don't want to add a bunch of strangers as your friends, right? But your Facebook page is really what you want to be focused on. And if we do have maybe more webinars, I'll show you how to customize your page to be effective for your industry. And all these things are available freely on Facebook. You can actually you can generate a theme that's for your industry that allows you to be able to put certain information front and center on social media. But your engagement time is critical, and also making sure that you're measuring what people are doing on your platform, and consistency. Consistency is key. Are there any final thoughts from the team before we wrap today?
I was gonna say, just keep in mind that when you're entering social media, it might be a slow incline, but just knowing that you're reaching people. I mean, you might not get 1,000 likes or 100 likes on your pictures or your posts when you start posting, but just know that if your reach and your engagement starts going up, that's really critical. And I wouldn't take that as a discouragement. Even if you're getting like 10 likes or something like that, as long as you're reaching a lot of people, I think that's really important. And Facebook and Instagram have really good ways to boost your stuff just so you can get that reach and engagement, and just so you can kind of put yourself out there in those industries, because then you can, on Facebook and Instagram, you can really target the exact people that you're looking for, and then that's when you'll start to kind of get a momentum, and they'll start coming up on other people who are looking for the same thing. Everyone knows, like, when you start talking about like Oreos or something, Oreos start popping up on your Instagram or something, and you're like, going on kind of the same way. You can use those to your advantage now it's not going to bother you, because now you're going to be able to go and use those to your advantage. You're like, haha, I got those people.
Absolutely. And I think next week is, as we go into the practical part of content creation and content development, we're going to show you some of the tricks that we've been using that's really been effective. We're going to talk about types of posts and also when to use them. And we'll show you a real life case of a strategy that we put in place for an organization that helped them to go from less than maybe 20% engagement to over 150% engagement within a span of 2 weeks. It's one of our most successful campaigns that we've run for a client. I'm just going to pull the whole team back in so everyone can say hi before we wrap today. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you came in a little late, this has been recorded, and we're going to send out the video to everyone who RSVP'd. But we definitely are looking forward to seeing you next week, Friday, where we're going to talk about content development. And it's going to be the same link, kingdombranding.com/webinars. If you are interested in signing up for KB Social, just send us a message. We will be in touch with you. We're also going to be doing a free raffle next week. Raffle is free. So we're going to do a raffle next week where you're going to get a free month on our platform. And we're also going to be offering a free content development session with you. It's going to be an hour where you're going to meet with our team, and we're going to help you build your content for you, right? Actionable content that you can immediately begin to implement. So team, everyone say thank you to our amazing viewers, wherever they're from around the world. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And we'll see you next week, Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.